the qualities of a child, of being childlike, that can benefit an adult, that can be useful to an adult. And in that list, the first and foremost quality that I would talk about is being more spontaneous. Being more spontaneous with life, being more spontaneous with your own emotions, your own expressions, and being more spontaneous with people around you. And whenever I'm thinking about this, I'm always reminded of this hilarious video I saw on the internet. The internet is so full of garbage these days, but there is always some sort of gold available for you if you're looking in the right places, right? So this one of my favorite memes on the internet is this reel of a guy sitting, and his wife calls him from behind and says, "Babe, will you love me even if I get fat?" And the guy, of course, he knew. So without even thinking, without even blinking his eyes, says, "Of course, babe, I will. I'll still love you if you're fat." And their kid from the background goes, "But mom, you are fat." And that it's just so funny. This is how spontaneous kids are, right? This is how expressive kids are with what they're thinking. Now, I do not want you to become spontaneous like that, in the sense that you end up hurting people around you. That's not the spontaneity we're looking for. So one of the key things that you should look about when we talk about becoming more childlike is that you should become childlike, but with the discernment of an adult, with the discernment of a well-meaning, a well-performing, a whole adult, which means that you have to be spontaneous with people around you, you have to be expressive with people around you, but you needn't become hurtful to them. But there's also a big but here. There could be times, especially with people whom you love, where you have to be hurtful to them, where you have to tell things to them that no one else will. And even if it hurts them, you are supposed to be the ones to do that. Now, that is a behavior that is maybe not too childlike, but if you are an adult who is looking to become more childlike, this is not a behavior that you should let go of. The ability to say things, especially to people you love, especially to people that you care about, that you want to grow ahead in their life, do not lose the ability to be able to correct them when they're wrong. Do not lose the ability to tell them where they're wrong or where they're limited, especially if the situation permits you to, right? I think that's important. And but having said that, now that when we talk about being more spontaneous, being more expressive, I think one thing that I particularly love about kids is, especially kids who are, I don't know, maybe around 3 years old, 4 years old, is their ability to say no. The ability to say no about something that just doesn't work for them. Now, when it comes to kids, maybe sometimes their no's are surrounded by a whole bunch of tantrums, but I still appreciate the quality of being able to say no, especially in a crowd of people that they might be to worry about, to worrying about. But even there, I think with being a child, because you have not learned a lot of those societal patterns yet of being shameful of asserting what you want to have, let's say for dinner. Let's say you have not learned the pattern of bowing down every time to somebody else's wishes, etc. You kind of let go of your ability to say no in those cases. But as a kid, because you've not learned all of those toxic patterns yet, your ability to say no is definitely one of the things that attracts me, at least. And therefore, when I talk about becoming more childlike, becoming more spontaneous with life, I would definitely say that this is one thing we can learn from kids. The ability to say no. The ability to assert what we want in a particular situation. And again, I'll again put a big but here, saying that you should be able to do that. You should be able to say no. You should be able to define your boundaries. But as an adult, you should be able to do that without all the tantrums of a kid. So you should be able to do that healthily. Now, how that expresses itself obviously depends on the situation. But I think this is something that you should consider. Become more childlike, become more spontaneous, become more expressive of your boundaries, of your no's. And along with that, have the discernment of an adult as to how you go about doing that. And also, when I talk about becoming more expressive as a kid, I think this is an example that always springs to my mind. It was just, I think, March. So maybe 5-6 months ago, my nephew was visiting me from the US, and he's a beautiful little 3-year-old kid, I think, at the time. And we were gelling along really well. We would go to the parks, and I was on holiday from work too. So, spent some great time together. One of the early mornings, it was, I think, close to 7 or 8 ish in the morning, and I was supposed to go outside the home to buy some groceries and whatnot. And I just asked him if he wants to tag along. He was busy playing something, and he said, "No, I don't want to go." And I was in a hurry, so I rushed away. I just said, "Okay," and I rushed away. And I was waiting for the elevator outside our home, and this guy rushes up to me, and he says, he calls me Fufu. So he says, "Fufu, why did you run away from me?" And he was not being jolly about it. He was actually almost on the verge of crying. And I asked him, I told him that, "No, I didn't run away from you. I was in a hurry. I asked you, but you said no. And therefore I ran away because I was in a hurry." And he was like, "Oh, okay, I also want to come with you." And we went along. Now, why I'm telling you this is, I think I might be exaggerating, but as a little kid, it must not be a good feeling to see someone that you are gelling along with, someone that you're loving at the moment. It must not be a good feeling to see that person run away from you. And the moment he had that feeling that Fufu just ran away from me, he approached me and he expressed his concern about it. And I just loved him for it. I remember there was almost a tear in my eye. And I think it was because of the fact that I never want him to lose this innocence. I never want him to lose this art of being able to express his emotions right then and there. And he did not really do that in a tantrum fashion like kids would usually do that. But as an adult, we definitely lose that ability. A lot of us do. A lot of us become too shameful of being able to express if something didn't really gel well with us. We lose the ability to, even express our emotions to people who matter to us. I remember I was in a conversation with someone quite recently, and she had a fight, not really a fight, but she had let's say, a series of disagreements with a friend of hers. And she was expressing it to me, and she was telling me that all of this is happening and all of that. And my first question to her when she was asking me for a solution was that, does she know about it? Does your friend know about it? In fact, before that, I asked her, how good a friend is she? And she said, we are best friends. We are inseparable. And then I asked her, does she know about it? About all of this? And she says, no. Her best friend did not know that she was feeling let down by her actions. This is how much shameful we become of our own emotions when we grow up. And therefore, when I talk about becoming more childlike, I would definitely stress on this point of becoming more expressive with what you are feeling. Because it's important. We have all been involved in situations in our families, in our workplace, where we see a bunch of people arguing, or let's not talk about a bunch of people, where we see a couple of people arguing. And if you are kind of a viewer of that conversation, you can see that they're arguing about something that did not really happen just now. They're arguing about some things that have been a cobweb of situations maybe a good few months or years ago. Because we keep our emotions bottled up, because we keep ourselves small from expressing what we are feeling, even around people who matter to us, all of those emotions, all of those repressed feelings come out in quite negative fashions. And if you really think about it, that is when adults throw tantrums. So if you were rather be more childlike and express your emotions in a healthy fashion, then and there, when a situation permits you to do that, I think we'll all be golden. That is all the therapy you need. Express your emotions. Now, one key thing that I always recommend to everyone who struggles with expressing their emotions is writing. A lot of times this has helped me as well. It's not just a Dear Diary moment for me, but a lot of times if you're feeling angry about something and the situation, because of whatever reason, did not permit you to express your anger, did not permit you to express your frustration at that situation, you should definitely consider talking to the other person involved, definitely consider that. Especially if that person matters to you, you should definitely consider resolving that situation, and at least telling that person how you felt in whatever time frame you can. But if that situation does not permit you to express out your anger or your frustration in front of the other person, you should at least express it on a piece of paper. And if we were involved directly, you were working with me or you were taking up sessions with me, I would advise you to write down everything you can, everything. Maybe express it out in 15, 20, 30, 50 pages, how much ever it takes. Maybe till your hand hurts. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. And at the end of it all, burn the damn thing away. And it's almost cathartic when you do that. Anyone who has ever done that would understand when I say this. If you have just simply expressed everything you wanted to, not for the purpose of reading it again, not for the purpose of posting it on the internet as a blog, but just for the purpose of letting it out, just for the purpose of talking it out, burning it away, and just destroying away all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions feels so cathartic, feels as if it's a big weight off of your shoulders. So I think I digressed a bit, but the key point from this entire thing was that one thing that you can benefit from when you talk about becoming more childlike is you should become more expressive with your emotions. You should become more spontaneous with what you think about, what you say, what you act on, and you should also become more expressive. You should definitely not hold back your emotions, especially around people who matter to you. And yes, I think do all of that, and do all of that with the discernment of an adult, and I think you're golden.